Hi. Okay, I'm so excited about today's topic, which is all about how I replaced my corporate income while traveling the world. I honestly can't even believe that's a headline that I'm using. It's kind of, I'm sorry if it's like eye rolling and you're like, oh, it must be nice. I get it. I cannot believe that this is the life that I get to live, but I hope that you take heart listening to this because it's not something that is unavailable to you. Like, I too was in a corporate gig that was paying me really well, that was scary to leave. I spent years trying to find how to make ends meet outside of corporate America. I started like a coaching business at first in wellness, and then I eventually found my way to where I am now, which, I'm excited about. And I'm going to tell you how it's replicable and tell you the exact steps, honestly, how to do it. Because my whole thing is like, I want everyone to feel this kind of freedom. Like, if you're willing to work hard and you're willing to put in the time and the effort, and honestly, the hardest part I think is just the risk of going for it, like to bet on yourself, to invest in yourself, and to go for it. You can have this, and I want anyone to be able to have that freedom, that feeling, that ability. So it's not unique to me, and it's also not impossible and unreplicable. So, I'll just break it down for you today, okay? So, and you can just tell me what you think. So, the first thing that I would do, and even speaking as someone who like took a winding path to get here, is I would master the skill of content and strategy. Because brands are so bought in on copywriting, on content marketing. Everyone knows that you need to have an online presence and a community and a blog and all that stuff these days. There's very little actually selling any brand or business on the fact that they need this thing. Whereas if you're trying to sell them, I don't know, fancy snacks for their break room or a different kind of water heater, I don't know like what brands want to buy besides this, but videographer, things like that might be a harder sell because brands are not past that like hump of, oh, I for sure need this. Like, we cannot have a business without this stuff. So if you can learn the skill of copy and content strategy, you have a skill that every brand in the face of the earth wants. Okay, so that's a very good skill to have. That's a very lucrative skill to put in your tool chest. It's also a skill you can use to improve literally everything in life, like whether you're writing a resume or your LinkedIn, whether you're writing a card to someone or an email, whether you're trying to sell even your own brand or services. Writing is one of those skills that will always help you, whether you're doing it for someone else or you're doing it for yourself. So that's the first piece of that. The second piece that I would recommend is to position yourself to charge premium rates within that world. So here's the thing. Copywriting and content strategy are completely learnable. I run a content marketing agency, and so I train writers all the way up from beginning writers to proficient ones every single day. It's part of my work. And so I know that, one, because I've been through it, and two, because I do it literally every day, that while some people may have a gift, just like painting or anything else, cooking, fitness, whatever it may be, just like cooking, just like fitness, just like painting, writing is also a skill you can learn and you can master. And you already have such a good head start. You know the English language, like you know grammar, basic grammar and spelling rules. So understanding how to write in different formats, or a few tricks to enhance your writing so it really makes you sound like a pro versus an average writer, is a trainable skill. And so even when I have beginning copywriters who come in and maybe they have, a lot of edits in the beginning, within a few weeks, we can get them to a point where I barely even have to look at their work at all because it's so solid, and I just know that it's good to go. Like, it doesn't require a ton of edits, and that's how fast things can really shift. So it's a learnable skill. The thing that makes it more valuable to brands, the things that enables you to charge a premium rate versus a lower one. Nothing wrong with a lower rate, but a lot of copywriters stay stuck in a long time in that $15 to $20 range. A lot of corporate salaries, you're going to need to be charging $50K or $50 an hour to replace $100K income. So you want to get to six figures. Maybe you're working in a high-powered corporate job. you're going to want to charge $50 an hour to replace a six-figure income. And the way you do that for brands is pretty simple. Like, one, you just have to ask. You have to be willing to know your value. But two, you've got to back it up, and you've got to be able to demonstrate your worth to them. And so there's a few ways you can do this. So, one is through having a really solid portfolio of work samples to show you know your stuff, you have their style, you know how to write. And this is something that I teach in my program, Freelance to Freedom, like exactly what your portfolio should include. I give you the template, I break it down for you. But you can also just accumulate work samples on your own. So if you don't have a portfolio, no worries. You probably have things that you've written before. Like, you probably have maybe emails, maybe you even have a blog, maybe you have social media things that you've done. All of those can be work samples before you ever get a portfolio. So one, that kind of shows brands that you are super professional, you've thought this through, you have a polished portfolio that you can show them, and you can demonstrate how good you are at this. But you also want to know how to pitch yourself. So you want to know how to pitch yourself in terms of, like, how do you introduce yourself? How do you spell out your experience? How do you show even results over tasks? There's nuances like that that go into make sure that you can actually show a brand that you are worth the rates that you're charging. And then the other piece is you want to know more even than copywriting. You want to be like Copywriting Plus, where you have an idea for strategy. The reason being, there's so many copywriters out there that you're not going to stand out as easily if all you can bring to the table is the writing element. You want to show that you also know that content strategy that a marketing manager has in their head, because then you become more than a writer. Then you become a partner. Then you're someone who gets what they're doing to try and draw people to their website. Then you get what you can do, like with call to actions, like how you want to include those to get more leads for the business or more sales. So I don't want to get too technical here, but suffice it to say that if you can position yourself to charge premium rates of $50, $75, $100 an hour by knowing content strategy, by having a portfolio, by knowing how to position yourself in your pitches, that is going to enable you to all of a sudden be replacing your corporate income, earning six figures or multiple six figures right away. So for me, the first month out when I went full-time with freelance copywriting, I hit that six-figure mark. The second month, I hit 20K, and it's grown from there. I actually got so much work in the beginning that I had to hire a team of writers because there were just too many clients that were willing to pay for someone who knew the strategy beyond just the writing. And that's not to be oh, I'm so good. Not at all. That's not my personality at all. It's to show you what's possible for you, though, and to show you, if you're sitting hating your corporate gig and you're stuck every day doing work that you don't like and that doesn't mean anything to you, you have a path out. You have a path out right now, and it doesn't have to be years from now. Another little caveat of my story is like I mentioned, I thought that the only way out was to start a brand new business idea or to become a coach of some sort. And so I actually did that, but I spent years trying to build my reputation and trying to do marketing and build my client load up, when freelance copywriting is so amazing because within 1 month, you can be replacing that income. You don't have to spend years doing it. And so to me, that's just an amazingly freeing feeling and empowering too, to be I can freaking make money anytime, and I can make $100 an hour anytime. I can work 8 hours and have nearly $1,000. That amounts so quickly to things that you can pour into being generous, into investing, into building your future, into traveling the world, into having savings. That takes you from such a place, and I get it. I went into so much business debt, which I don't recommend, but I did. I learned the hard way, and it just takes you from such a place of fear and scarcity around money to a place of feeling independent and secure and generous and capable. It's so freeing. And so it's another reason why I'm super passionate about, I get on these tangents. But basically, step number 1, learn the skill of copywriting and content strategy. And then 2, position yourself to charge premium rates. Okay? And then there's only one more step. Like I told you, this was simple. I'm not like holding out on you all the secrets, but it's just to create a steady stream of clients. That's the steps. You learn the skill, you learn how to position yourself, and then you build the client load. And so if you can start to build this like list of clients, the amazing thing about copywriting is if you do a good job for a few clients, they naturally have more work to give you, almost always. They want you then, if you can do writing for them, they wonder if you can help them with publishing. They wonder if you can, can you go and maybe help us find the images for this? Like, can you take on this part of writing? Can you take on this? And all of a sudden, you have more work than you can even handle as one person. You might even need to go hire a team underneath you, and that's when it really can scale quickly. But it's so much less time spent marketing yourself, and I rarely ever will have to go out and market, because the other good thing about doing good work for people is they want to give you referrals. And so just if I ever am like, I'm ready to expand, I think I'm going to get more clients, sure enough, 1 or 2 referrals comes in the door from someone and I'm good again. I don't need to go like out there and seek clients or track them down or feel like I'm like unable to get them ever. And so that's, I think, really the benefit is like, just go get those first clients. There's a million ways to do it, whether it's through, job boards, whether it's through reaching out to your network. Like, again, I detail all of these in my program, Freelance to Freedom. This could be like it's an 8-week program, so it'd be like a lot to list out every single one and how to do it now. But I'll give, I told you them, like there's a few that reliably work, and it can work whether you are someone who wants to go meet new people or you want to just use your current community and network. And so that's it. You go and you create a steady stream of clients and you do amazing work for them, and they naturally want to keep giving you more and more work. And all of a sudden, you're booked full. You might even be hiring a team yourself, but if not, you're completely setting your own hours. So if you decide that you're charging $50 an hour and you want to work a full work week, great. If you start to get a booked out practice and so you want to raise your rates and say, now I'm $75 an hour, now you can work, 30 hours a week and still make that 6 figures. You want to start charging $100 an hour because you're so booked out and people love the work you do and they need you? Amazing. Now you work 20 hours a week and you can go live your life in the rest of that time. Like, you can go spend time with your children or with your family. You can go travel like I did. Like I've mentioned on these videos before, like I would work in Buenos Aires and Barcelona and Amsterdam and Switzerland, and like anywhere I could go, I had a Wi-Fi, I had laptop, I could just work from. And so I'd spend part of the day working, and then in the evenings I could go explore. On the weekends I could have these most amazing like experiences. And again, like that's not like go me. The point of this video is to be like, here is the path. And if you want to do it on your own, you can. And if you want to streamline it and make it even easier, then I can help you. But it's basically master the skill of copywriting and content strategy. It's a learnable skill. Number 2, position yourself to charge premium rates. Demonstrate why you're worth it to brands, and they will happily pay you versus having to go hire 3 people who each are an expert in these things to get the job done. And number 3, create this steady stream of clients, whether it's through your own network, whether it's through job boards, whether it's through meeting people at trade shows, like whatever it may be. I'm happy to talk more about all of those, but that's what you do. And then you do amazing work. That should be step 4. Like, do a good job for these people, just as you would as a good human being. Do your best. And then your whole business naturally repeats itself. And you have the confidence of knowing you can go out and get more clients anytime that you want to, but you also have the fun of knowing like most of the time you kind of don't have to. And so it just opens up a whole new world for you. And then if I wanted to add one more step, which maybe I do, is just then envision what your life looks like. Once you have that financial independence and security, and once you have that free time, that's when the fun and the work begins of like, what do you want your life to look like? Like, nothing is off the limits anymore. You're not commuting. You're not in a corporate office. You're not answering emails and texts all hours of the day. You're able to create the life that you want. You're able to be your own boss. So one of the first things I always do in my programs is I just I have people get really clear on what that looks like. Like, where do you go? What's on your bucket list for travel? Like, what do you want to buy? Like, what do you want to invest in? How do you want to be generous with your money? Like, what does your day look like? Because that's what you have the power then to choose. And so those are the three things. I hope that they're really exciting to you, really thrilling. If you have questions, drop them below. I'll be happy to answer them. And make sure you check the description if you do want more information on how I can help you and show you everything I know over 8 weeks. Break it down so it's so simple, so step by step, so sustainable, and you don't have to do any of the guesswork yourself, which is, an even faster way to get there, which is what we all want, right? So anyway, your life can change in 90 days, and I hope that these help unlock a little bit of the path to get there.